Hey lovelies, this is Blossom from Tales Unfold, and today we're going to discuss a bit the topic of meditation. How can it benefit you, when better not to do it, and how you can develop your own practice that serves your own needs. Meditation itself is simple, but for many it doesn't come easy. Luckily there are many ways to practice, so let's dive in. So whenever you deal with either stress or you have challenging times that you are going through in any form, or maybe you just want to develop a deeper spiritual practice, want to grow as a person, there always comes one advice. There's always someone who will tell you where you need to start meditating. And usually that comes with to set aside every day 20 minutes early in the morning. Best you actually do it twice a day, 20 minutes. Empty your mind and just focus on your breathing, right? That's usually the advice. And it sounds simple, but actually for many it is not. Depending on who you are talking to, you will also be told that you have to sit in a certain position and that you cannot have any tools to help you. You must meditate without music, you cannot use any kind of noise cancelling headphones or earplugs. You have to be able to do it without any kind of tools. And that's when it actually gets problematic. Also the whole thing where maybe you don't have 20 minutes in the morning to meditate. Usually the advice is, well, get up a bit earlier, which we will discuss a bit later why maybe that's not a great idea. However, in general, those people mean well and it might have served their own development, their well-being, and therefore then it comes. And otherwise it's just saying what everybody else is saying. Some people mean actually well, but they don't really know what's behind all it. Now, just a little disclaimer here. I will talk about meditation or mindfulness practice for well-being. If you are on a different path where you want to ride a hedge, for example, or astral travel, shamanic journeying, you do have to, well, you don't have to do anything, but it is really important that you get on with your meditation practice because you need that focus to go deeper in. So we're talking now more of a general idea of meditation and mindfulness practice for well-being. Now, meditation, of course, has several benefits. Like, for example, it reduces stress. It reduces negative emotions. It can increase the self-awareness. It increases creativity and imagination. Also, there is an increase of focus, an increase of patience and kindness. It can also give you a better control over anxiety, and it improves sleep. And these are only a few of the benefits that you can gain when you practice meditation on a regular basis. But it may not be beneficial for everyone. Some people are just simply wired differently. For example, neurodivergent people, including autism, ADHD, trauma brain. Those people might find it very difficult and struggle to bring that daily practice into their life. Also people with any kind of mental illness, whatever that is, or with physical limitations might have certain problems with certain practices. For some it is simply also overwhelming to just add another task to the endless to-do list we all have. Because let's be honest here, we all want to improve our well-being, we want to improve health, in any kind of form. We want to improve our emotional stability. But if we follow every good advice we are given, well, that's a lot of time in the day. So let's start with meditation, 20 minutes a day. Then exercise for another 30 minutes. Then 20 minutes of journaling. Then set aside every day 30 minutes to read. And set aside time to cook every day from scratch. That might take up to an hour. And then again, take a walk for another 30 minutes at least. And if you combine all that, we have already over 3 hours in, and we didn't go to work yet, and we didn't take care of kids or pets, or we didn't have time with partners yet, or with friends, or with family, or anything, right? So I guess we kind of need a better system how to incorporate that into our daily lives and mindfulness practice. So if you have a processing difference like autism or ADHD, it can be very difficult to focus your mind. Of course, with that you can also go into hyperfocus, but that's not really, meditation will usually not bring you there. The rapid fire of thoughts, any kind of sensory issues, maybe you can just not sit still for that kind of, for any length of time. Maybe you need to fidget. So this can already seem like an unsurmountable challenge before you even begin. However, there are many different ways to meditate, and we have a brief overlook of what kind of meditations you can use, but I will make it very brief. If you want to see it more in depth, go head over to either my blog post or my podcast. Both links are in the description box. Now we first have the mindfulness meditation, which is usually focus on your breath. However, you can also use it with a candle, but let's assume now focus on your breath. So you basically just pay attention to breathe in, breathe out, and every kind of thoughts that come by, you just observe and let them go. However, like I said, like we mentioned before, people like with ADHD, even autism or any kind, or trauma brain or whatever, that's the perfect time for intrusive thoughts, which can make it really difficult, and which definitely will not be something that you will benefit from. Then we have a mantra meditation, which might help a little bit to ease the rapid thoughts. So in a mantra meditation, you will use a word or a phrase repeatedly over and over again. The most well known is Om, which you will use all the time, over and over again. You can also use different things. You can use affirmations if you like, with, for example, I am present, I am grateful, nature is my bliss, this is the perfect moment, I am safe, I am. So, and if you keep repeating like I am safe, I am safe, I am safe, or I am. This helps already to keep the thoughts at bay, but it might not be for you, it might not do the trick. That's a possibility. Then we also have the loving kindness meditation. This meditation is used to strengthen compassion, patience, and kindness towards self and others. So when you hold on onto anger and resentment, then this meditation can help to cultivate understanding, more understanding, and aid to letting go of those feelings. Maybe it doesn't. That's always an option. So you open up to receive loving kindness from someone who truly has your back, somebody in your life that you know who truly has your back. You imagine them smiling at you and wishing you nothing but success and happiness, for example. I will include, you can, if you have a pet and nobody really in your life who has your back in that way, just, imagine your pet. Or if you don't have a pet either, maybe just one of your guides. Because it becomes, I am not gonna lie to you. I hope this is not you. I really hope this is not you who is watching. But it's really hard to find people in our life who are genuinely interested in our well-being and who really wish us nothing but happiness for nothing in return. It can become tricky. I hope you have at least one person like that in your life. Now, and then when you have imagined that, visualized that, you do the same for that person or whoever you visualized for yourself. You send the same kindness to them. So that's the loving kindness meditation. So this might be for some people good, for some again it might be difficult. Then we also have the guided journeys, guided meditations mostly called, and this is of course really good if you are struggling with rapid thoughts and you can just let someone else taking over. somebody else guiding you through imagery, whatever that kind of imagery is. There might be even music involved that takes your mind off things, that helps you to let go a little bit. You are being told a story, right? You are going down a path into the forest, you will find yourself on a clearing or whatever. You know, there are always similar images in those kind of meditations, or you go deeper into the ground, deeper and deeper into another world. And this might be just right for you. So don't think just because you use a guided meditation where somebody else is taking the lead, so to say, it's still valid. And for all of those meditations, know that you can modify them to your own needs. If sitting still is not available to you, that's okay. You can do a walking meditation, you can walk around, you can just take in. Sometimes it's that people don't understand that just a walk in the forest, right? And just taking everything really in and just listening to the sound of your steps and smelling the air, the earth, especially after rain, and it just has that great earthy smell, right? And watching the sun and the leaf dancing around the leaves, through the leaves, the rays coming through. All of that is already a mindfulness practice and even can go into a meditative state. Also, you can meditate while gardening, pulling weeds, for example. You will get into a meditative state if you want to or not by pulling weeds. If you have a big surface to cover there. At some point, because of the repetitiveness of the movements, you will get there at some point. And if you are sensitive to noise and every noise distracts you, I'm myself very noise sensitive, so wear headphones, noise cancelling headphones. Blast the music if you have to, or just earplugs if you want, right? You can use that. You can use music. That is no problem. Use music. Anything that relaxes you, that does not excite you too much. Because I have that, if the music is too good, I get excited about the music and I will focus on that instead of anything else. You can then also use shamanic drumming if that is something you enjoy. Or others, I personally like, for example, binaural beats. Others go absolutely crazy with that, I understand. But just binaural beats without even music, just to drone out the outside world, and it does something with your brain. It's like I can physically feel it. Then while you sit in meditation, usually you get a hand position. For example, this, right? And but if you're not comfortable with that, or you feel like your brain works just that way that you need to fidget, absolutely possible. While you are in meditation, grab a fidget toy if you have to. Make that part of the meditation by just feeling it. Feel the surface. I have now, I have a kitty fidget toy, but I need a lot of fidget toys in my daily life, so why wouldn't I use it in meditation, right? It eases me. You don't, so you can either use a fidget toy or you have a stuffed animal around or whatever you want. You don't have to go and buy one now if you don't have one. You can do that. You can also use prayer beads, for example. For some people that really helps to focus if you have them, or if you want to make one yourself. Also, make it as comfortable as possible. Don't make it too difficult that you have to have like 15 minutes of preparation time before you can meditate for 5 minutes. But maybe just put on a nice smell, throw a bunch of pillows on your floor where you want to meditate, and just make it comfortable to your own sensory needs. Now, one of the issues, and we talked about it, I briefly mentioned it before, one of the issues can be some people keep falling asleep. And that's where I said, just get up 20 minutes earlier so you can meditate. Well, if that keeps happening to you, right, you keep falling asleep, well, congratulations, at least you are relaxed. That is perfect. Many don't even get there. But if you fall asleep that quickly, there's usually an indication that you don't get enough sleep. Then don't get necessarily up 20 minutes earlier and take away more of your sleep. That would not be, I don't think that's a great idea. Many of us struggle with insomnia or not sleeping that well, that deep. We're often stressed. The mind is always tuned on or turned on, sorry. So there I would say if it keeps happening, that for every meditation you keep falling asleep every time, then work on your sleeping pattern first. Then meditation is not your priority because your body is clearly missing sleep and needs attention there. Another thing with meditation is really don't try to meditate. A very important tip, don't try to meditate, because the more you focus on it, I have to meditate, the more pressure you put onto yourself, and the more difficult it will be, and the less you will succeed in your meditation. Just let it happen. Lie down for a couple of minutes, like 2-3 minutes top, and you do a little breathing exercise. Breathe in for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you do that 3-4 times in a row. There we go. You meditated without even noticing. So that's how I would start if you have really difficulties to get into it. Do not think of meditating. Don't expect anything of your meditation. Don't expect you will get visions, you will get all the answers. It's just a timeout. Just see it as that. It's just a little timeout. One of the occasions I would advise against meditation, at least for the time being, is when you experience trauma and are still kind of in the middle of it, haven't really worked through it well enough yet, or you're still haunted by a lot of intrusive thoughts. That is still something that dominates your day. Or if you suffer from PTSD, and that is the time where I would say do not meditate, because we can also read from Bessel van der Kolk, the author of The Body Keeps the Score, sorry, and he notes that due to the fact that those people with PTSD cannot distinguish the present and the past, so they experience their trauma as if it is happening right now. Therefore, in a meditative state, you will not feel safe, and you are not. Your body reacts like the trauma is happening, and you are in that headspace of constantly being alert. You will put so much stress on you, and it will freak you out. So at that point, I would advise against it. You can experience flashbacks, you can experience nightmares, you might dissociate, and you get emotionally dysregulated, which is absolutely not the point. So forcing yourself into a meditation then is probably not right for you yet. Maybe you need to seek out first other forms of therapy, or however you want to deal with your trauma. Now, this is where I would say, okay, no meditation, but you can still practice a mindfulness practice. Let's look at 8 different practices you could incorporate into your daily routine. Not all of them, you can choose 1 or 2, depending on your time. And the first one I want to mention is journaling. So that doesn't have to be the typical journaling, dear diary, that's what I did today. You can, of course, but if that is not really your thing, you can also just doodle the main event of your day, something that made you really happy, something that made you really upset, something that, was just kind of the main event, but even if it didn't have that much significance. So you could doodle, right? And even if it's just stick figures, that's fine. Make a comic out of it. You could stick around, you can just draw an entire page just in one color. What was the main feeling? Some people are having a hard time even knowing what they are feeling. Try to figure it out, so maybe just go by color with it. you felt kind of enraged or angry or upset, or maybe you just use red in all different shades, and you don't even have to draw anything. Maybe just fill out a page with color. You can, of course, also have a gratitude journal or list where just one sentence or one word, that is an option too. Maybe you want just to put in quotes, something you heard, you read, you heard on a podcast, you heard on TV, on a show, in a movie, you read in a book. Maybe a friend of you that you had a conversation with said something really important. It doesn't always have to be the most mind-blowing thing, but just something that stuck out for you that day. Again, also with journaling, I don't want to say you have to do it every day. That might add a pressure that is not right for you at this moment, but try to do it regularly. In any form. You can of course change it up. One day you write a few sentences about what you were grateful for. The next day you just color the page in different shades of blue, for example, or then you have a quote again. You can make it your own. It doesn't have to be pretty. That is the most important thing. You don't have to share it. Nobody has to see it. It can be as ugly as you want. You don't have to make it perfect for Instagram, right? Now, another one is grounding. Again, with the grounding. So grounding is something I would advise, especially if you're really hyped up, if you're really even in trauma. Grounding is one of the things that I would say, okay, do it. We talked about it already here on my podcast, in my blog posts. I keep saying it over and over again. So one of the exercises, if wherever you are, you're standing or you're sitting, you imagine roots growing down into the earth, bringing up the energy, let it fill you up. That's one grounding exercise. Another one, if you're not good with visualizing, another grounding exercise, also often recommended for people who are experiencing anxiety or going into a panic attack, are re-traumatized, there would be to notice 5 things you see. Okay, forget the number. Forget the number now. Things you see. Say them out loud, even if you want, or if you can't, you can just say them in your head. I see the door, I see photos, I see a box, I see books there. Everything, you just start noticing everything, what is around you, what you see. Then the things you hear, all right? The things you can touch. So the surface of my desk, for example, here my fidget toy, how does that feel? Then the things you can smell and the things you can taste. That's another grounding exercise. And you can use that in any kind of situation, because we don't always have the option to just close my eyes and imagine roots. It's not always an option, but the other thing, you can incorporate more into your daily life, right? And it doesn't feel like an exercise so much, or at least for me, right? That's what I can say about it. So that is another grounding exercise you can try if you like to. Another mindfulness practice would be movement. Move your body in a mindful manner. That can be moving your body with the breath, and that can be as simple as breathing in when you bring your arms up high and breathing out when you bring them down again. And you just do that a few times in a row. Basically, that's yoga. Moving with the breath. Alright, so you can just do yoga. If that is already in your practice, great. If not, you can try out certain beginner videos. There's so many on YouTube. Or you're just walking very mindfully. Really taking everything in, like we said already, a forest walk if you have the option. Even if you just go around your village or wherever you live, just listening to the steps, how it feels. How does it feel through the entire body? Does it have more impact now on your knees, for example, than 10 years ago? All those little things that you notice. No judgment, just notice, don't, oh my God, I get old. It's not about that. It's just taking it in, I'm like, oh, okay, that feels different. I haven't paid attention to that for a long while, you know? So movement would be number 3. Number 4 is reading. And so that can be a mindfulness practice too. And what I mean by that, so the best thing you could do is actually read in print. Taking a book with paper, because we do we do spend already so much time on our tablets, on our screens in general, just screens, right? We're on it all the time. So if you take your favorite book, read it again, and look at the thingy. If it is on your Kindle, it's fine, you know, no, you can do that too, right? But paper is a bit different again. And then you notice the light changing on the paper. Notice the light, the feel of it, the smell of it. You can do that with the Kindle too, or with wherever you read on, right? And then notice the flow of the sentences. What is the rhythm there? Read really, really slowly. Be excited about words. Look them up. Where are they coming from? Oh, this is a word that I don't often use. What is it, right? So that's another option you could do. Read mindfully. Then tip number 5, play with your pet. Often, so I'm taking dogs now as example, right? Insert your pet here. So often we have our dogs with us, so they cuddle with us on the couch while we watch TV, or while we're looking something up, or while we send a message and write an email here and there. And we just cuddle with them or just pet them a little bit. But this is really be very, very present, super present, and you're just there for your doggy, for example. And you really let your fingers run through the fur and you take a good whiff of them. They smell so wonderful. At least my dogs do. I love their smell. I always did, always, also with my previous dogs. And those moments are so precious, right? And play with them. Go on the ground, right? Play with them on the ground. Just fool around, right? Be wild. Use your, start playfully growling. And use if they play with toys, use them and be really mindful of that and just be there for them. Now this sounds so obvious, but so many people forget that in their daily lives because we are so busy and always hustling from one spot to another. And so really take every day there, I would say do it every day if you have a pet. Every day take at least 5 minutes or so to really, really go crazy and play with them and really, just be with them. They will appreciate it for sure. Another tip would be play an instrument. Now, I know not everybody can, right? Or not everybody even wants to. And I'm not talking you have to learn the piano now. You can, of course, if you want to. But we had it already in the previous video, I think, with the clearing. Get a singing bowl, get drums, get whatever you want, rattles, a rainmaker, or whatever. And then the repetitive pattern of the sound. So let's take the example of a steel tongue drum, for example. I repeat that over and over again, I noticed that. For example, as an example. So you take the steel tongue drum, not the handpan, because that's quite expensive unless you want to. And you just start playing, and if you have or get one with a pentatonic scale, it will always sound good. You don't have to learn anything. You just go around, you play, and you will get into a quite trance state sometimes even, at least it will calm and relax you. Even if you just have a singing bowl and you sit down every day 2-3 minutes or so and you just let it, and you just keep playing it, right? It can just bring already so much relaxation, and It's all that where I say just those, it doesn't matter how long, and if it's 3 minutes, it's 3 minutes. It's just that little time out within the day. Now, another thing you could do is prayer and intention. We talked already about that also in the previous video. Maybe it's just something you want to begin your day with. You are not very used to clearing or cleansing your own self, and you want it to be more of a daily practice, but you are having trouble with visualization, and so you just want to say a few words, and that is totally fine. And you could really do that while you wait for the coffee or tea to get ready, and just say a little prayer. And one that I found that I also really like to use myself, I found it again online, don't ask me where, I don't know. But it goes like this. May my heart be gentle, my mind still and open, my spirit unshackled, my awareness keen, my conscience clear, my nature giving. May I be a healing energy, may I be of benefit to all, may my life enrich others, may I know what matters, and may I live in harmony with nature. I'm sure you can find many other inspirations on Pinterest, for example. I change it a little bit around for my own needs. This is not exactly how I say it, but close enough. I think it's a beautiful statement, a beautiful little prayer. Of course, you can also pray to a deity if that is in your practice, pray to your spirit guides or whatever, or more of a general like that, a general one like that. You can also, of course, just set intentions during meditation, right? You sit down and you set an intention for the day. You could say, I intend to find peace. I intend to forgive myself, or I forgive myself. I am aware of my emotions. You just say that a few times over and over again, just for a few breath cycles, right? And there we go, there we have an intention setting for the day. Or always use them with the positive, not I will not be stressed today. Then prefer to say I will be calm and peaceful. That just as a little side note. The last mindfulness practice that you could use is spell work and ritual, if that is in your practice, or even I'm just going now, you're completely beginner, you have never done anything like that. That's just how I handle this video right now, right? So intention setting, prayer, spell work, ritual, you know, it all weaves together. And I want to give you a very, very basic but very simple example for ritual / spell work, depending on how you go further on with it. It's very basic for either those that have never done anything like that before, or if you're really on low energy and actually don't want to do anything, but kind of want to do something, but just don't have the energy for it. So you can set up your altar. If you don't have an altar, just put a candle on your dining table or on your desk or wherever you want, right? Set a candle there. You can also use an incense stick if you want to, or you burn some essential oil with your diffuser or anything like that. Prepare just a certain sacredness to this space. Very basic. Then you could draw a card from an oracle deck if you have one. If you don't have an oracle deck, you can also use any image you like, anything that inspires you. And it should resonate with what you want to manifest for that day. So let's assume I want to manifest more vitality and energy for myself today. So I take the card Salut from the Fairy Forest Oracle. I also want to include the color green for health and growth. So this can be a candle, a healthy plant. If you don't have an image, a picture or an oracle card, you can also just write it on a piece of paper and put that piece of paper on your table, altar, or whatever you have. Now take a moment, be in the present and focus on your chosen representation. Let's assume oracle card. And there you can say a little prayer, an affirmation, a spell that rhymes, a chant, a song, whatever it is, repeat it as long as you can focus on it. So in this case, for example, with this card, I would say, bright flame of Bridget, first green of Canonos, may my vitality peak today and energize me in my work and play. Blessed be. And that's it. Now, if you have fidgety fingers, like me, I get it. What I like to do is to weave in the message. So I have that energy, okay, that vitality. And I will start making those motions, weave it from the card into my heart chakra or wherever it is needed, depending on how you associate what to what. In this case, I would actually weave it into my heart chakra and I would repeat the message over and over again and weaving it in. I need to do something. You might have noticed it, because I mention it so often, the fidgeting. I have trouble sitting, so still and just be very, I need to do something during meditation, during ritual, doing spell work, just sitting there and visualize stuff and just sitting there. Okay, let's go. It is so hard, but as the moment I can use a little movement, and if it's just a hand movement like this, right, playing a bit, magician, I will be so much more focused and concentrated and actually, I am present then. And if that's you too, say hi. I want to meet others. So that's just, it might help you if you have trouble. Now, and that's already it. That's the entire ritual. That's it. Super, super low energy. You can expand on that as much as you like, or you just keep it like that for really low energy days, or if you're just starting out and you don't know what you're actually doing. As we go on this channel, as we move further, I will, if you're interested, talk more about spell work, ritual work, but I have no idea at this point who my audience is, so let me know in the comments, alright? What do you want to see? Now, as a conclusion, mindfulness practice can be so beneficial and can have many positive effects on all areas in your life. Don't ever be afraid to modify them to your needs. You're not doing it wrong. Don't let anybody tell you you're doing it wrong. We hear that so much lately. Don't listen to everybody. You trust yourself. Okay, you know so much more than you think, and you can really trust yourself. Do the work how it feels great for you. And all those mindfulness practices only are beneficial if you're actually doing them. So if you do it a way that you can't stand or that you can't just not manage, then they will never be beneficial for you because you're not doing them. So do it the way you can actually keep it going. If you can only use one mindfulness practice every 3 days, then that's how it is. But if you can keep it up, then it's beneficial for you. So, and all I have left to say now is if you have any questions or suggestions, as always, keep a comment below, or you can also head over to my homepage talesunfold.com and connect with me over there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope your world is kind. Much love and bye.